And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Ricky Hampton, along with my co host, Tree McDougal and Tim Turner, coming to you on a Tuesday evening. Hope your Labor Day weekend was great. Uh, Tree and Tim, we're joined by one of the great ones tonight, uh, a sports writing legend, covers pro football for the Atlanta Journal Constitution. Our good friend D. Orlando Ledbetter. D. Led, welcome, man. It's always a pleasure when we have you on the air.
Well, thank you, Rick, for that grand introduction. It's always a pleasure to join you all, and thanks for having me this evening.
Absolutely, man. And we're all excited because everybody's, well, unless you're at Morehouse, everybody's got a little momentum right now at the beginning of the season, especially us Virginia Union Panthers. But we're gonna jump right to the pro ranks with the opening of the season. Just your thoughts, D-Led, on what you are expecting out of the 23-24 NFL season.
Yeah, the AFC is stacked. The NFC has got teams that are going to break through. Kansas City, can they win another title? They'll be challenged by Buffalo and Cincinnati. Can the Jets step up? And can Jacksonville come up and challenge them? So, that's five potential Super Bowl winning teams on the AFC side. And I didn't even mention Tennessee because they fell off a little bit last year. So, it's going to be tough sledding over there. Baltimore's trying to come back. Cleveland's trying to come back. So the AFC is going to be where the good football is this season. Over in the NFC, you got a whole lot of question marks other than the Eagles and, Dallas's ability to win the big game with Dak Prescott at quarterback. We hear about that all the time on those those fighting talk shows. That's what I call them. They just get on there and fight with each other
Yeah,
all morning long.
yeah,
But and they only fight about Dak and the Jets. So it's like it's only two teams in the league. So that's what I'm looking for this year. For the breakthroughs on the NFC side, where anybody stand up, break through and then be able to stand up to some of those superpowers over in the AFC in the Super Bowl, which will be in Las Vegas in February this year.
Okay, so D-Led, going into the season, you had a look at what's happening up in Flowery Branch, and what is it going to be like to cover a Super Bowl contending Atlanta Falcons team?
Well, I don't know if they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, Tim, but maybe that their battle here is to try to get back to respectability. They've had 5 straight losing seasons, and if they can get back to over 500 and maybe sneak into the playoffs or and once you're in there, try to do some damage and so forth. But they're definitely a team that is trying to rebuild and make some progress. I don't think they're ready to. I don't see a championship type roster yet, but they definitely are much improved.
Actually, of course, it was a joke because I'm thinking the NFC is going to be run by the Eagles. They seem to be head and shoulders above everybody else. But going into Thursday night, that's the season opener. You got Kansas City and Detroit, and then Kansas City gets a big setback today with Kelsey with the hyperextended knee. So, what are you looking for out of the Chiefs? And even with Kelsey, that nobody said how long he's going to be out, if he's even going to miss the game Thursday night.
Yeah, Kelsey's getting up there in age. I was stunned when I looked it up at the Super Bowl last year. He's about 34, so it's about time. It's about Tony Gonzalez didn't go much past 34, not surprised that he's hurt. You just don't want to compound that and then bring on an onslaught of injuries. But the Chiefs will be fine. They got a system in place. They have some young guys that came on last year that they'll be counting on to step up. Pachinko at running back, and then Sky Moore at wide receiver. To give some of the weapons around Patrick Mahomes. So they're in a good situation where they don't have to rush the tight end back out there and try to get it going without him. So Kansas City's in a pretty good stead, I believe.
Tree.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So You already know I'm like the least knowledgeable person about sports in general, but these guys let me hang out here. So, how do what should I be excited about if I'm not, I've watched some games, I'm trying to get back into it. I used to watch it all the time and I kind of drifted away. Is there something I should be looking at in particular that would make me excited about uh, football again?
Yeah, I think what you want to get excited about is some of these young quarterbacks. The African American quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. They're not. It's not just a 6 foot tall white guy dropping back there and scanning the field. You got some excitement and some players that'll run and move the ball around. And that's already being done by Jalen Hurts ahead of these two young guys that I mentioned, Jalen Patrick. Just the style of play. Deshaun in Cleveland, maybe Justin Fields in Chicago. Just to name a few. I think the guys in Chicago, one of them's here in Atlanta, Ryan Pace. They should still all be fired for passing on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. They took
Hmm.
Mitchell Trubisky, who's a backup now in the league. But how did you mess that up? But they've been messing that up for years in the NFL. But yeah, the thing to get excited about is to see this extension of this revolution that we started to see a couple years ago of the black quarterback in the National Football League. Now, when we get to the black coach playing in the National coach in the National Football League, we'll have another thing to get excited about. It's just been a little bit slow on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
What
Well, you
what you led that is so on point, man. It, I you may have just about 2/3 of your starting quarterbacks in the NFL are black quarterbacks now. I mean, it is just stunning to see that transformation happen at that position. And as our friend Earl Kitchens, who covers a lot of college football, says, in high school football, there are a lot of young black quarterbacks in the hopper who are coming. So, this is here to stay at that position. The way the game is played today. But it was also one other thing I wanted to mention to you, D-Led. We're going into week one, guys. You have Chris Jones, one of the top defensive players in the league, sitting out. You have Bosa, defensive player of the year, sitting out. You got the running back in Indy, Jonathan Taylor, sitting out. I don't know when I've seen so many top line guys, D-Led, sitting out this late in a season, this late in training camp, and possibly even missing some game time.
Yeah, no doubt. And Brian Burns, that's the big one here.
Brian
In
Burns
the
and
Carolina Falcons game is if he doesn't play, that changes the game for the Falcons. They can run on his backup all day long. But no, I just think it's a extension of the poor, um, you know, collective bargain agreement that the players negotiated, and they let the money move to the quarterbacks. And I was supposed to come to the mid-range veteran guys, and it hasn't done that, and it's it hasn't gone to the top positions either. But once you get one contract, Aaron Donald, he gets a big contract, and everybody's like, "Oh, I want Aaron Donald money." Like, no, you're not Aaron Donald. You Chris Jones, so you get Chris Jones money. But they can't differentiate. Same thing. Zach Martin got upset. The kid from Atlanta got $20 million a year. Zach Martin's the best guard in the league. He's like, hey, I need to be closer to that. So that's not a Zach Martin problem. That's his agent's problem for not putting a clause in their contract that, hey, my guy, as long as he's going to the Pro Bowl, is getting a top 5 salary at his position. So, these guys get mad at their agents, the collective bargaining agreement. That's a little bit too complex for us right now. But that's what it is it's a bad collective bargaining agreement that doesn't spread the wealth around to the top players in the game.
And you're not even mentioning
the running back situation.
With the running backs. Yeah, 10.
No, I want to go back to where the quarterback situation where is you see a guy like Anthony Richardson in Indy, and because of the success of the other African American quarterbacks, Indy took him pretty much on spec. I mean, he has talent, but he really didn't do a whole lot in Florida. And so, and now he's their starter. And then I'm thinking about the kid I saw Saturday night for Alabama, who is a massive quarterback. First year guys. He looked incredible. And it seems like that's the trend now. You're not going to see a whole lot of, like Rickey said, a lot of drop back guys. You're going to see guys who are absolutely.
Yeah, speak to that, D-Led. We lost.
And we saw Shadur Sanders do his thing this weekend too at Colorado. So you got to include him on that pipeline group that's coming. No question about it. But and then on the flip side of that is Trey Lance. When he got drafted, just one or two games at North Dakota State. One of the high-ranking officials, GMs that I talked to, said, "Hey, yeah, lad, he's got ability, but it's going to take a while." And that's the same thing with Richardson. But these teams don't have the patience to develop the talent properly. So few teams do it the right way. Green Bay, they drafted their kid 3 years ago. 3 years in, he's ready to play. But, you don't have teams right now like, okay, I got to pay this kid $12 million to learn how to play. Yeah, if you want to develop them, you got to do that, or you don't have an investment. The 49ers should be whoever was responsible for the Trey Lance trade, and I think it was Shanahan because my guys were out there, Mayhew and Lynch, but they all had a hand in on it. He hated Garoppolo. He thought all he needed was a quarterback who could throw that bomb to, because he could scheme it up and get him open. But Trey Lance couldn't do it. Brock Purdy, I don't see him throwing a bomb, but I mean, hey, that's who they're rolling with now. But you gotta, if they're not ready to play, don't play them. Don't run him out. Richardson, they're getting ready to run him out there. He's gonna be running around. It's gonna look bad. I'm just hoping that they teach him a couple plays and he can run those, and Taylor comes back, and then he can build his career off of a running game and develop properly, or he's gonna be traded in a couple years like Trey Lance was.
Yeah,
for twice a year, I'm hoping that doesn't happen for Bryce over in Carolina. I mean, I want him to lose to my Falcons twice a year, but I think that kid is going to be special if he doesn't get broken up. He looks really small.
He's a little
guy.
Yeah,
he's a little dude.
Even I noticed that.
Yeah,
he's a little guy.
And we only seen a couple little guys do it. And you got to go all the way back to Joe Theismann and Doug Flutie for that. And they had to roll out and do all kinds of crazy stuff to get him into passing lanes and stuff. So, but this kid's a drop back passer. He's not a runner. He's not going to be able to see. I mean, but Drew Brees did it pretty good too. But Sean Payton schemed that up. He was like 7 yards deep on a shotgun snap. So by the time you got to him, the receivers were open and he had a big enough arm. So it's geometry in that regard. But we saw Bryce Young, what he did at Alabama, threw for over 8,000 yards, 80 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So he knows where the ball's supposed to go.
Yeah, you talk about developing quarterbacks. Brad Holmes, the general manager here in Detroit, I thought his genius pick, D-Led, was taking Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round out of Tennessee. He gets this year to get his ACL in order, learn the game, and he's a 3rd rounder. So when he gets ready to play, and I think he'll play in year 3 here in Detroit, and just let Goff hold the ship till he gets there.
Yeah, Hendon was one of my favorites in this last draft class, but once he got hurt, that kind of set him back a little bit. But he's a guy out of Greensboro, Dudley, I believe, and started at Virginia Tech, if I'm correct. And so he's a little bit older. He's one of the COVID kids. So he's not going to have a whole lot of time. He's going to have to get out there at 27, 28, when normally these kids are getting out there at 22, 20, 21. So he was a late bloomer, no fault of his own, but he can throw the football down the field that he showed last year at Tennessee.
Well, you got another old gray beard over in Los Angeles with a Bennett waiting in the wings out there, and I think he's like 26, 27.
Yeah.
They showed he was older than Lamar Jackson when he won his 2 national championships.
Yeah. He's not I don't think he's a NFL starter. He's probably a quality backup. But he did look good in the exhibition season. I saw him make some pro plays. So, man, the kid was a winner at Georgia. You can't knock him for winning 2 national titles.
True that. But you mentioned that was about Shedeur, and I saw something today that was a vendetta by the Sanders family. Now, the OC, the offensive coordinator for TCU, ignored Shedeur at a football camp one summer. And I understand Shedeur has had it in for him since then. And so that's why he went for 510 and 4 touchdowns. So they keep receipts in the Sanders household.
Well, yeah, that's part of sports. Hey, if I want to go to Michigan and they don't recruit me, I end up at Ohio State. Guess what? I'm coming for you. So, the coach probably regrets the fact that he did that.
Yeah.
And now that Shedeur's done that, we need to see that next week against Nebraska. We need to see that every week. If he got to put a picture of that guy up on the locker room every Saturday morning, that's what he needs to do, because he got a chance to make a whole lot of money in his own regards.
Oh, absolutely.
Tree.
So, as far as, do you have any predictions of who wins each division?
Yeah, we can go start out east with Dallas. In the West, the 49ers. And I'm over in the NFC right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then in the South, you got the Saints that are going to win that. And then in the Central, I'm drawing a blank on them right now, but
the North,
Minnesota, Detroit,
the North. Okay, I'm skipping the North. So, Detroit's supposed to win that, but I know Detroit. Rickey knows this. I mean, every year Wayne Fox will start 8-0 and something will happen. And I don't think coach is too stable. I don't care. Y'all give him credit. But he's an up and down coach like Dan Quinn was here. He'll win 8, then lose 8. So if he goes and beats the Chiefs on Thursday, that'll be a good one. But I'm still going to go with the Green Bay in the North. And so, that's how I'm seeing the NFC there. Now, over in the AFC, I'll just start with the North. That's going to be interesting, but I'm going to stay with the Bengals there. Bills in the East. AFC, I'm going for the Jaguars, figuring that they're legit. And then out West, that's easy. That's the Chiefs. So, maybe the Raiders could put something together. I don't think so. And Josh McDaniel's second year. Denver, no, with Russell. He's trying to save Russell, saving Private Russell. That never works. So, yeah, Sean Payton talked him into some money out there. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert, they paid him some money. It's time for them to stop. They got a new verb for them. They call it chargering. So they need to stop chargering out there and beat some people. Namely the Kansas City Chiefs, before anybody takes them very seriously.
Well, you mentioned charging. It's like, but Herbert's been hurt a lot. That's his thing. It's like, and do they really have all the weapons to get with Eckler and then Williams and Allen? Is that enough?
It's enough when they're healthy. Those guys, I never see them play together. Usually one of them's hurt. Both of them were hurt when they came here, but they had Eckler, and that was enough. And they had some backup number 1 who ate the Falcons up. But if you're going to beat the Chiefs, you need to be firing on all cylinders. So
Is there a sleeper team out there for you, D?
Yeah, I think Green Bay might be a sleeper team, coming out of the North because everybody's, so quick to move off of them because Aaron Rodgers is gone. I don't think you consider the Giants a sleeper team. Nothing out west, that Rams, Seattle kind of snuck up on people last year. But yeah, I don't see nobody just laying all the way in the weeds unless Tennessee puts it all back together pretty quick. But I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill guy. So, but if Derrick Henry could run you to a lot of stuff that a lot of people can't, even though he's getting up there, and they did bring in a backup guy to help him out. But yeah, what if this Richardson thing works in Indianapolis? That defense with Shaq Leonard isn't bad. Maybe they, put together something like Philly did with Jalen, and he's throwing RPOs and starts slinging it all over the place. But I don't see the weapons there for that to happen, but they got a shot. You're going to have a shot when you got some athletes and they're out there and can play some ball.
Hey, D, we just keep you a couple more minutes. Go ahead, Tim.
I was going to say about sleeper players because like tomorrow's I have a fantasy draft, and I see nobody's talking about George Pickens. Nobody, and everybody's riding the Bijan train. Who do you see out there? Is a kid in Detroit going to do anything? Is a Gibbs? Is he going to be somebody you can you can count on, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Bijan lasted a little longer in our draft tonight than I anticipated. I took Gibbs pretty early because I know he's going to get the rock, and that's a good offensive line up there. Pickens lasted a little longer. I had him on my little thing, my queue to watch, and somebody took him right before I got to him. But yeah, he's got to make plays. He came down here and ate the Falcons up in exhibition season. Him and Kenny Pickett appear to be developing a good relationship. Now, the rookie that's on my radar screen, but I don't think a lot of people know about him, is the Lions tight end Sam Laporta. The rookie tight end there. He caught a lot of balls. And Goff is going to need, the tight end to lean on in that attack. So, because Ramon, I'm going to mess his name up, Rick.
Well, they got
St. James or St. Brown.
St. Brown, yeah.
But Jameson Williams is out the first 6 weeks of the season. So, yeah, that's a good pick with Laporta. Hey, D-Led, I was going to ask you quickly, man. We had the whole thing earlier in the year with the running backs not being able to get their money. Jonathan Taylor still trying to get his money. Do you agree with this sentiment that the running back position is devalued, or is this again part of that bad? And I think you're absolutely right about that bad CBA contract.
No, I think it's a part of them and the league moving towards a passing league. Nobody's giving the ball 30 times to the running back right now. It's not. When we grew up, it was, when the games were on, it was going to be Eric Dickerson and Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, some of the great running, Earl Campbell, and you knew he was getting the ball 40 times. These running backs aren't getting that type of workload, although Taylor was getting it a lot early. So I think what you got to have is a play-for-pay sliding scale for these guys where the pay matches their productivity. You got to be creative with that. The owners want a hard salary cap with certainty. But, I mean, if a guy runs for my guy was Alfred Morris. He was with the Redskins.
Yeah.
For 3 years, he ran for 1,600 yards. It was time for him to get paid. Everybody looked the other way. Like, hey, yeah, we drafted you in the 6th round. We ran you in the ground. Hey, we're not giving you a dime. So if I'm his agent after the first 1,600 years, I'm not coming back. I need to get paid like if I finish number 1 in the league, I should be number 1 on the pay scale. So you gotta, maybe that's the position where you pay to play, where you pay for the production. If the guy gets hurt for 10 games, they don't have no problem with cutting him. So the owners have everything on their side. The players have to come up with a creative remedy because, I don't want to pay Jonathan Taylor $10 million and he's got a bad foot and doesn't run for nothing this year, which, that's the coach position. It's like, hey, get healthy first, then we'll talk about money. And then we'll run you back into the ground. So, so that's where they're at with that. The pass catchers they wanted a game on basketball on grass, so it's passing league now. That's what the fans wanted.
Yeah.
You still got to run the ball to win championships, but the game has shifted, and they shifted the money to get those type of players on the football field.
Yeah. Well, my brother, anybody got anything else to do? We could keep you all night, D-Led, but we know you are in the grind mode now, man.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you will come back maybe at mid-season and catch back up with you, brother.
Sure, no problem. I just want to tell Tree, I saw her post where they said a tree fell on the car, and she said, I didn't do that.
I was nowhere near there, sir.
Doing her thing on social media.
But really, look, I also want to say happy 80th birthday to your mom. She turned 80,
thank
right?
you. Yeah, she did. Yeah,
awesome.
We did. She had a wonderful time on her cruise that we took her on here earlier this month. So yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, D-Led, how can people read your great work and the Bowtie Chronicles, brother?
Oh, thank you. They can find us on ajc.com, and you can get the Bowtie Chronicles podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at.
Absolutely. One of America's great sports writers, D. Orlando Ledbetter, joining us on You Get What You Get. Thank you, D-Led.
All right, Rick, Tree, and Tim, you all take care and have a great season.
All right, you too. I'm excited about football now.
We'll see you at the halfway point, man.
Yep, no doubt. Maybe Morehouse will win a game or here. Win a game or two.
Starting Saturday.
Not starting Saturday. Later on.
Maybe the game after that, right?
Yeah, the game after that. Y'all take care. Have a great evening.
All right, D-Led. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
That was great, man. Especially that last part about Morehouse not winning a game, Tree. I really like that part.
I thought you might like that.
No, we're pulling for you, Tim. We're pulling for you, man.
Okay.
Tim? I've never heard him go silent before.
I know, it takes a lot. Surrender, Tim.
Go on. What you got?
Silence. It takes a lot.
What you got?
We have the rest of the show.
Yeah, let's get into some of this, man. Where do you want to go, Tim?
Oh, where we want to go? We want to probably go to the greatest game of the weekend.
Oh yes.
A 20-point underdog, a guy with 80 some odd new players. 2 of them his son, most of them from HBCUs. Only 3 players back from last year that were on the squad. It was Colorado over TCU. Granted, last time we saw TCU, they lost just as badly the Georgia National Championship game. But this was a just total greatly played game. Shadur Sanders, the Hunter kid, who was outstanding on both sides of the ball, played 120 plays. I think it was 150 plays. Played defense and offense. Mm-hmm. It's just remarkable in what they did.
I know. It made me really get interested again in football because it was so good, particularly college football. It was all about college basketball, but yeah, it was a really great game, and I enjoyed. Midway through, I was like, they really got to win.
It's not many games this time of year that you're getting the texts and the phone calls from people. We had a little text chain going. Mm-hmm. Some of my other buddies were calling and texting. Did you see this? Did you see that? The play Hunter made to save a touchdown, which I think is coming up
pretty soon. This kid,
was so good.
They were great. They looked
It's right here.
They played forever. That interception right there is probably the greatest interception you're gonna see all season long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kid snatched it out of the air, saved a touchdown, could have killed momentum.
Yes.
Kept it on their side. And then Shedeur just like, okay, here's my arm, boys.
And that's after TCU actually came back and took the lead there. And Shedeur brought him right back down the field.
Right.
And they scored. And my question to you guys, one game into the season, nobody's going to win the Heisman after one game. I don't care how great the game was. But you can definitely get in the conversation. And Colorado has two guys in the conversation there.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter and Sanders.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but I think Hunter, if of the two, I would go with Hunter. He's playing every down, selling popcorn. He's doing it all, and I don't see how anybody could say anything less. There's not another guy there. I saw somebody threw for 400 yards this weekend. I don't know I can't remember who it was, but you look at people and what they're doing, it's just amazing to me. I look at the number in Colorado, of course. Colorado jumps into the polls this week at number 22.
They look so good. They look so good.
They were 1-11, Leonard. They were 1-11.
Right.
Yes.
I think Rich Eisen said something to the fact that Deion Sanders is the only head coach or only person who has, equaled the team's win record in 1 week, hosted Saturday Night Live, and been in the Hall of Fame, is a Hall of Famer. So he rolled all those things into one on Deion. I forgot he hosted Saturday Night Live.
I forgot that too.
And I think I got here.
He hit over 500 in the World Series. Put it that way, because had the Braves beat the Twins in the 91 series, Deion would have been the World Series MVP.
Mm.
Well, check this out, guys.
We don't know nothing about that. Knock your shit.
Damn, this is about us. This has nothing to do with the team that's opposing us. This is about us. This ain't got nothing to do with the naysayers, the unbelievers, the haters, the doubters. This is about us. When we started this journey, we told you it was gonna be trying, it was gonna be tough, but you endured because it's about us. That man next to you is a miracle. That man next to you is a believer. That man next to you is a go-getter. That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing. That man next to you is somebody who believes. That man next to you is somebody that got to have it today. We ain't got tomorrow. We got now.
I mean, he is a master motivator.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can he do that for 12 weeks?
Oh, yeah, he's going to have to. After a while, it won't matter. These kids, right? When they went into that game, every one of them had to be thinking, is this going to work? Yeah, we talk all this noise, but once you got that on the field, everybody got a plan A until you get hit in the mouth, as Mike Tyson used to say. And then, it's on. You got to get hit a little bit. But as you'll see, on some of those jerseys, you would have seen L's and D's. The L stood for leaders. He doesn't believe in having captains. He believes in having leaders and having dogs.
Yeah.
So that's what the L's and the D's on the jerseys were. These are people who showed themselves to be head and shoulders above the other guys on the team and leading those cats. And it was evident that everybody bought in, everybody believed. I didn't see really any weaknesses because I thought they would get beat in the trenches with people being bigger than them and pushing them around and beating them up. That didn't happen. And now, Nebraska's got tape on them.
I'm sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to.
Well, I was just talking. Nebraska's got tape on them, so it's like, would anybody else be? Will Hunter surprise anybody? No. Will Shedeur throwing the ball surprise anybody? No. That's the thing.
And when you talk about those dogs and leaders, Tim, Tree and Tim. One thing they do know, they got two guys they know that can get down, and that's Hunter and Shador. They know they got two guys who are as good as anybody in college football. And I think with the confidence Deion's able to bring and the swagger Hunter plays with and the coolness that Shador plays with at that position, I don't see a lot of panic coming from this team because this Deion got them believing, oh yeah, we can do this. So they are going to be, once again, he came to HBCU's Tree and brought all the college football world eyes on Jackson. Now he's taking it to Colorado.
Yeah, but don't you think, Tim, you said they got tape on them, but don't you think that knowing that they might change some things up, or what could they change?
Oh, they're going to have to, and they, whoever the number 2 receiver of Colorado is, like, so this week's ball is coming.
Yeah.
Not gonna throw it to Hunters. They're coming to you this week. Whoever the tight end is coming to you. Whoever the back is at the backfield is coming to you. I mean, they're gonna have to switch some things up.
I think they had four guys had 100 yards receiving.
Right, and then you had the one running back with 4 touchdowns. The kid, I think he transferred from Alabama to come up there. And so, I mean, he picked really good guys. And speaking of picking, it's the people that I respect who also were hating on Deion this weekend, saying he needs to have humility and he needed to talk about the other team. This one guy, Dodd, I think for CBS Sports, was saying that Deion made it about him and it should have been about the kids. And he should have been talking about making it about the opponents and, speaking complimentary of them. And Deion did that. And the idea is people like
made it about the kids.
He did. And the guy was, like I said, people always will see what they want to see.
Yep.
They see Deion being brash. Yep. And it's like they're not used to
and confident.
You see a brother with confidence. That's what he said. Says it makes white people uncomfortable to see a brother with supreme confidence.
Yeah.
He said, don't let my confidence disturb your insecurities.
Yeah, because it's not many college football coaches you talk about to talk about where's my theme music.
Where's my theme music? And I'm like, okay, what's that about? But
hey, what you gotta do.
And somebody today talk about Jack. He said Deion picked some really good guys in the portal. Then they said he strip mined Jackson State, which is derogatory. Granted, I mean Jackson State's 1-1. They got crushed by FAM this past weekend, but that wasn't because he strip mined them.
Because FAM's a really good team.
Exactly. FAM is outstanding. They're probably going to win the SWAC this year. So, I mean, people are going to say what they want to say. He's got a lot of people I saw saying, it's great that they won, but he needs to be more humble. It's only one game. Did they give him the national championship trophy at the end of the game? All of this stuff. Nobody expected him to win. So when he does win, it gets flamed. If they'd lost by a million, there'd be people dancing in the streets.
And bro, he's Deion Sanders. We've known him for 40 years. He was Neon Deion. Prime time.
Underestimating him.
I mean, this guy's always had the sweat. He's been exactly who he is.
Right.
He's never been anything different than what he is now. So he's probably more genuine than a multitude of these coaches that are out there that act one way in front of the camera and are different. We know what Deion's going to give you.
Well, yeah, for the most part, but I've only seen him almost pass out once. And that was I was covering spring training. And I was in the locker room when he was playing for Cincinnati. He was in the locker room talking to Barry Larkin, and he's sitting next to Barry Larkin. And Barry was really concerned his wife was having a difficult pregnancy. And he mentioned that she had a tributylene pump. And I said, oh, yeah, I know what that's about. I said, yeah, my wife had to have one of those things where you take this long old needle and you stab yourself in the thigh. And one day and the other day, every other day, you stab yourself with this needle in the thigh. And you can see Deion over there getting woozy. because he was like, "Oh, they did what?" And the kid was the kid that played in the NBA, the Larkin kid that played in the NBA was the kid who was delivered because his wife, Barry's wife, had to have bed rest. Yeah. So that's what I thought, but that made me think of that. It's like I've seen him less than confident when you start talking about needles. So, but beyond that, he's been totally just the guy who he is, and loved him here in Atlanta. Playing, only brother I know played the football game in Miami afternoon, played the World Series at night. Okay,
come on, man. Give it to the bro. And I unfortunately I wasn't able to get the little clip with the media, and it was Ed Werder from ESPN who apparently had written. I never saw the story that Ed posted, but I think he was saying something about Deion being nothing more than a celebrity coach. Well, he is a celebrity, and he's a really good coach.
Yeah, but that goes back like 30 some odd years because Werder used to cover the Cowboys, and Deion was with the Cowboys, so they have a history. So leave it, it's that. So
and Werder took it in stride. Also, he's an old school journalist, man. He understands that. But anybody waiting on Deion to be a humble football coach.
No. If they go 1-11, he'll still be the same cat.
Yeah, and he's gonna be telling, wait till I get my guys in here next year.
Exactly.
He said, "You give me while you can. Give me while you can."
The eyes of the nation will be back on.
So we need T-shirts that say "Celebrity Coach." Sorry, so we need T-shirts that say "Celebrity Coach."
There we go, Tree. There you go. That's marketing.
There you go.
Marketing.
There you go. hey, but speaking of FAMU, that was an impressive win over Jackson State because Jackson State looked good in their season opener
against South Carolina. Yeah, in South Carolina State, he thought that was outstanding. But you look at, I think the SWAC, the MEAC, these people, I think they're going to be true to form. I think FAM and Alabama State were the only winners at the SWAC this past. Well, Prairie View beats Texas Southern in overtime. But everybody else had these check games and got what they got essentially. Except for Valley losing up in Upper Chicago against Central State. All these games have these real tight field shots because if you look at those crowds, nobody's coming to those games Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, those classics just aren't what they used to be.
Yeah, because I'm thinking this weekend, and you got Arkansas Pine Bluff playing Tennessee State in Memphis, and you know who used to be that other team was Jackson State. Deion blew that whole contract up and got them out of that.
Yep.
And then he bolted.
and that used to be 50,000. Those games great. Speaking of TSU, they played at Notre Dame, and they got a shellac 56-3. They did win the halftime show because the Aristocrat band.
It's important.
Showed out. But you know what? I see that. No, I shook my head because that Virginia Union won the halftime show up there in Canton as well.
but I'm gonna tell you, our band was sorry when I was there. So I was doing other things during halftime anyway. So that probably shouldn't talk about on this show.
Lie. Oh, never mind.
I was gonna say
but when I see. Just like Saturday, watching the Aristocrat bands performing in South Bend, Notre Dame State, and they got a terrific ovation from the fans. And something just doesn't sit right with me about that. Number one, I hate seeing a school get embarrassed like Tennessee State with such a proud history. When they had a team that might be able to play with Notre Dame,
right.
Notre Dame wanted no part of them. And then they sit back and, they watch the band dance around and everybody cheers. It's almost like.
You think it's minstrelly?
Yes.
That's
Thank you for that Morehouse education there, because I've been searching for the word for that, Tim. No, really, not just
You
that
can
game.
dance.
But then, but you know what happens later? It's like at University of Georgia. They steal
gotta
those.
bring that up.
They steal those songs. You know.
Oh yeah.
You can't
LSU.
Yeah, LSU. That's what I'm saying. LSU stole Southern stuff, and the LSU plays Southern this weekend in Baton Rouge. Oh, and I'm quite sure this Southern's going to pay for what happened in Florida State game on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But the bands.
Does that ever cross your mind? You. That's the right word for it, Tim. Tree, does that ever cross your mind when you see that?
Well, I hadn't thought of it that way. But then when the moment you said that, Tim, then it kind of created this visual for me. Like you said, you're sitting back and we can dance and we can shake, and they're like, it's entertainment.
We'll entertain you, but we will beat the life out of you once the game starts again. This $1 million, was it worth it?
Y'all can have that. Y'all can have the halftime show, but we got the game.
I know, granted, we're going to give you the show too. Nobody's going to care about Oklahoma for the 15th time, doing some sort of musical cats at halftime. But, the dancing girls and the precision with the bands is unmatched in the HBCUs, which is why they show the halftimes. They don't know.
I get it, but I think your term is absolutely on point there. Anything else in the HBCUs?
Well, I look at this in North Carolina, A&T and Central.
I'll be in Greensboro this weekend at that game. So looking forward to that. That's
I'm thinking A&T lost somebody they should have lost to this week, didn't they?
Say what, Tim?
A&T loses somebody they were supposed to this weekend. I'm trying to think.
A&T, who they got this weekend? North Carolina.
Central.
This week.
North Carolina Central.
We got to give a shout out to Morgan State, because I think them beating the University of Richmond, which has a really good FCS program, is really good for outstanding for the Bears. They beat them 17-10 down in Richmond, and bro, I know they did not get any calls.
No,
in that situation. So props to Morgan State for that win. And Tim, do you have any SIAC scores you would like to share?
There's only one SIAC score that was of notice. Virginia Union, no longer the nondescript diploma mill school. It is Virginia Union did beat 45. The 13 did beat Morehouse. But the rest of the SIAC scores are not there. I understand they hired a associate commissioner for marketing and communications, an Alexandra Brown, and that website has not been updated since the last month. And they had no recaps for any games this weekend. And you think football season happens every year about this time, right?
Yeah, last time, yeah.
So it's like being surprised by Christmas, that you'd expect on the Sunday or Monday after these games to have recaps of these games and not have to go over Easter Buddha and find the different scores.
Here's where I'm going to be on the other side of that, Tim, where perhaps you don't know what the staffing situation is, where they have someone to just got there. You say the person just got there?
Oh, that's okay. And you know what? I have the internet.
Yeah.
And I can look at the newspapers in different towns where these games were played and write something up, a sentence up about what happened at the game. That's not hard to do. How hard is that?
That's not hard to do.
Albany State at Wingate. Wingate. Find a newspaper for Wingate. Oh, Tuskegee played Valley and Montgomery. I bet the Montgomery Advertiser covered that story. I bet they covered it without even having a folding chair. I bet that was in there.
So critical.
Oh, it's not critical. It's just letting my people know that do better HBCU SIDs and communication departments. You talk about people not knowing what it is, where your schools are. It's all about branding. That's what it's about. Branding.
Wow.
And I'm looking here, and there's still nothing on here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here it is Tuesday night.
My
Well,
goodness.
Nada.
it happens. Should they do better? Yes. We don't know what the circumstances are. I'm just saying, the person just got there. Maybe they don't know how to work the content management system. We don't know.
We don't know.
We
But
don't
I
know. But
Oh,
you're
I
quick
do
to
see-
criticize, and I yeah, just like yeah.
No updates. I do see Lane lost to Miles 37-24.
Okay.
That's like
There you
not
go.
having any hurricane updates on your website. Is that what you're saying? Even though the
I'm saying
hurricane
just
has
like
been
that. You got a
forecasted
hurricane
in
coming to town,
advance.
and you're still talking about bug spray summer. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
You gotta do better, people. Got
do
to
better. Do
You know,
I would
I'm
agree.
really happy. The CIAA, they had a whole compendium of all the recaps. MEAC, perfect. MEAC knows what's up. They do it all the time. CIAA, MEAC did together. SWAC, nope. SWAC was lacking. They only had, a
SWAC
link
was
to
whack.
Yeah, SWAC was whack. But MEAC had their stuff
So
together.
harsh.
I just want to be people. I'm just saying it's week one. Come on now. Come on, week one. Like I said, kudos CIAA, kudos MEAC. Good job, a good halfway job, SWAC. A 0 F minus X for the SIEC.
Mean.
Hey, speaking of do better.
Yeah.
We got this a new segment. Do better.
Do
It's a new
better.
segment.
That's a good one. Do better. But
Do better.
Do better.
You know who's doing better?
Who's that?
really better is Coco Golf, man.
Mm.
Coco Golf.
That young sister
Love her.
is on a roll. She ran over
Speaking of mine,
her opponent, Austin Pico, today to advance to the semifinals of the U.S. Open. In fact, you had 4 African Americans advance to the quarterfinals. Madison Keys,
Ben Shelton and what's the dude?
and Tiago. They're playing right now.
Yeah.
They're actually playing right now, and I think Shelton won the first game, 6-2, and it's 2-2 in the second. But and Madison's been around a while. She's had a good career and made a lot of money. Hadn't had a lot of big wins, but I think Coco could be the one that comes away. I think she's destined to win some major championships.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely. She's right there on the cusp, right there. I mean, it's been a micro lull between her and Serena.
Yeah.
So it'll keep interest in tennis, especially as far as US goes, because we normally are out of there. Like Djokovic or somebody's on the men's side, or they're always taking care of business. And I'm forgetting who Coco beat in the match before this one. Who was?
She was came out of retirement.
Yeah.
For 3 years. Yeah, I can't think.
And I thought that she would be the person that probably was going to, do some damage.
Yeah. But the thing about Coco, and she's only 19, man, she can get to everything.
Absolutely.
Which reminds me, when Venus first appeared on the scene, I mean, you couldn't get nothing by her.
Right.
She was long and moved so well and was a fierce competitor. And Coco got a lot of I see a lot of those traits in Coco also.
And I like that she speaks up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wish I'd seen the clip of her telling her coach to pipe down.
Yeah.
For the match before this. Okay.
I got this.
Right.
I got this.
Mm-hmm. She's good.
So that's exciting to see that. Before we get out here, I guess we take another turn to another sport where you see the story about college baseball at the Valdosta State, where the coach wouldn't let the kid on the team because he had braids.
Yeah.
Hair was long,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there are other kids on the squad who had long hair, but they weren't in, locks. And the coach was pretty much like, these are my rules. You follow them.
And then even after he cut it, right? He was like,
Right.
you should
Yeah.
play posted a photo. It was up to here.
Right.
Still was not good enough.
So yeah, that's a bad look there down there, Blazers, down there at Valdosta State. Really bad look.
I mean, how does he get away with this?
He's a coach, and if he's winning, I mean, I don't know what their record is, or how much of a winner he is, or how long he's been there, who he knows. But that doesn't seem like it's a very equitable thing. Granted, I don't know how good this kid can play either, because coaches treat you commiserate to your talent as well sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I want to totally be on the bandwagon about that, but it seems kind of arbitrary, capricious to do that with the hair thing, which is a hard thing to deal with. And then I guess we go back on NFL football. I should have asked Dad about it. Didn't know it at the time with the NFL draft, but that would be the last time ESPN pretty much would have Chris Mortensen. I know he's been dealing with some issues with some health issues. He's had some cancer issues over the past couple of years, and he is not going to be their go-to guy this fall. So pretty much it's going to be Schefter as being their guy over at ESPN unless they find another guy to come up there and be side by side with him. But Mort was outstanding. I said, this is a Wayback Machine. When I was in college as a stringer for the paper in Columbus, Mort was he was covering the Braves for the Journal-Constitution. And so then he went on on to cover the Falcons and then went on to do other things. So, I mean, it go a long way back with him.
He spent some time in Pittsburgh also?
I think so, yeah.
I think he covered the Steelers.
Yeah. You think about Glenn Sheely.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the deal with that. And did you find a clip of Stephen A. Smith in
Yeah.
I
was going to ask you about that.
It won't load.
It
won't load.
Just the idea that he could, see it on.
So, do you think he's doing this on purpose?
No, it's just.
I was going to ask.
He's been doing the show with the other guy for so long. Yeah.
Your mom ever called you out your name? Called you by somebody else's name when they get all hot and bothered?
Yeah, it was 6 of us. Yeah.
I'm the fourth child. She come down and I said, only one left. I'm names, and one of them was a girl.
So, you know I'm talking about you.
Boy. So yeah, one of those. So I'm thinking that's what's with him. He got all hot and
you're breaking up, Tim.
I think we're missing some gems from Tim.
You did. I missed the first Undisputed. And it was a train.
Come again with that because we missed. You broke up.
We missed all of that.
You do it now. Come again with that.
Oh, okay. I said it was a train wreck for the first Undisputed show on FS1 with everybody screaming. This is like, I'm looking at him thinking in his head, he's going, "What have I gotten myself into?" I got 3 times the shouter that Shannon is. And Skip looks nothing like Stephen A. They call him that was totally just
yeah.
One of those things. I just what D. was talking about, those shout shows. I can't watch him. I cannot watch him arguing all the time about this.
Just the screaming and yelling. I mean, yeah, I want to address this next week, Tim, because you kept breaking up on us, but I did get your last part about the yelling and screaming, as D-Led said. I mean, but that's part of that stick, that whole thing, to just who can out yell the other guy. So we'll move on, and
Is it
we're going to get out of here for
Yeah.
the night. But definitely want to thank G. Orlando Ledbetter for checking in with us from the AJC. Check out his work. Go to the I think it's AJC.com, isn't it, Tim? To that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is, and you can find it from there. He does a great podcast called the Bowtie Chronicles. But for my great friend Tim Turner and great friend Tree McDougal, I'm Rick Hampton.
All right. Be kind, everybody.
Peace.